The Senate takes its first steps to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
I'm thankful to welcome you to what appears to be the beginning of the end.
We have the latest on where the deal stands now and the new developments on the SNAP program.
And only on 4029, we bring you a whites-only community taking hold in the natural state.
We are for European heritage. That's our history. That's where we come from. We want to perpetuate that.
Tonight, we talk to one of the founders and president of Return to the Land.
Plus, a local veteran artist's work will soon be shown nationwide. We have more on his creative process and where to see this award-winning piece.
Live, local, late breaking. This is 4029 News at 6.
Hey, thanks for joining us for 4029 News at 6. I'm Brandon Evans.
And I'm Allison Wise. We'll start with a look at your weather with Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee joining us.
All right, Darby, cold start to the week. Start warming up tomorrow, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That south wind's going to kick in, and it's going to warm up pretty quickly. We think later on this week, in fact, as early as tomorrow afternoon. Out there right now, still really cold. We spent most of the day in the 30s in northwest Arkansas. Some cases didn't even get above 40 degrees, barely got above 40s in the River Valley. A lot of cold air here, but off to our west, it's warming up. But here at home, I mean, some areas are already getting close to freezing in northwest Arkansas. All of us pretty close to freezing for the most part. And temperatures already dropping to 40 in the River Valley. So temperatures drop really quickly this evening, already below freezing next hour, well into the 20s. We approach midnight and thereafter. But then as we get towards sunrise, temperatures actually start coming back up closer to freezing. And then look at that. Tomorrow afternoon, we're back in the low 60s in northwest Arkansas. In the River Valley, yeah, getting cold tonight. We'll probably drop in the 20s briefly after midnight, but then we'll also warm toward sunrise and then get back to mid-60s tomorrow afternoon. Comes courtesy of that south wind, which is already getting strong tomorrow morning. So technically, it'll be warmer in the morning than it was this morning, but with that wind, it may make it feel colder. But again, that wind, it continues throughout the day, but it's bringing in that warmer weather. We'll talk more about what to expect throughout the rest of the week coming up.
All right, let's take a live look at our nation's capital. A breakthrough in the Senate could soon end the longest government shutdown in American history. So last night, a group of 7 Democrats and 1 independent joined Republicans to advance a new proposal. A final Senate vote could happen as soon as tonight, but procedural delays are possible.
Our Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco is on Capitol Hill live with the next steps. Jackie.
Hey, Brandon, Allison, as you mentioned, we are still waiting on a final vote in the Senate. After that, though, this still has to head back over to the House. Speaker Mike Johnson did say today that they are going to work to try to send this to President Trump's desk as soon as possible. Take a listen to what President Trump said earlier today when asked if he'll support the deal to end the government shutdown.
Based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything, and we have support from enough Democrats. And we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
The latest Senate proposal would temporarily extend federal funding through late January with longer-term funding for certain areas, like food aid and veterans programs. It would guarantee back pay for federal workers and reverse mass layoffs ordered by the Trump administration, specifically during the shutdown. But the deal is dividing Democrats because it does not include an extension of enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies that have lowered out-of-pocket costs for health insurance. Instead, it promises a Senate vote in December with no guarantee of passage.
I cannot support the Republican bill that's on the floor because it fails to do anything of substance to fix America's health care crisis.
I intend to continue to fight for that, and hopefully the Republicans may hear us. But all those people who oppose this agreement, staying in a shutdown mode was not getting us anywhere.
Now, keep in mind, Republicans do still have majorities in both chambers of Congress. And so the question mark tonight is whether both parties will be able to reach common ground on the health care issue before these enhanced tax credits are due to expire at the end of this year. For now, we're live on Capitol Hill. I'm Jackie DeFusco, 4029 News.
Jackie, thank you. And a federal appeals court ruled the Trump administration must pay full food stamp benefits for tens of millions of Americans in November.
Yesterday's ruling is the latest in the administration's effort to provide only partial funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. The Trump administration once again asking the Supreme Court to keep the full food payments on hold. The justices are expected to decide tomorrow whether to halt those orders.
Now, the Arkansas Department of Human Services did release a statement on SNAP benefits, saying they're continuing to move forward toward issuing partial benefits that will be in line with the latest guidance from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They're also working to make them available later this week if possible. They said they're watching for any new developments and will provide updates as things change.
4029 and the Arkansas CW will collect turkeys to donate to local food banks to help address food insecurity. The early bird turkey drive already kicked off last week. You can give early on our website, 4029tv.com. That's leading up to this Friday's turkey drive, where we'll be taking frozen turkeys at 2 Walmart locations in Rogers and Fort Smith.
So according to flight tracker FlightAware, nearly 20,000 flights were delayed at U.S. airports today due to the shutdown. Over 2,000 canceled overall.
The FAA ordered a reduction on flight capacity by 10% at 40 major airports across the country.
Today's probably could be one of the worst days, maybe.
When the flight was canceled yesterday, I was like, oh my gosh, so a lot of anxiety.
So even once the shutdown ends, well, the Transportation Secretary warns that the delays and cancellations, well, they could last through the holiday season.
It was a good day on Wall Street. The Dow Jones up 381 points, the Nasdaq up 522, the S&P 500 at 103, and things not looking good for us here at home as much as it is nationally. Walmart's down 21 cents. Tyson Foods is up $1.23. JB Hunt was down $2.48.
So Springdale man accused of fleeing the scene of a deadly accident has pleaded not guilty.
Police say 26-year-old Jose Medina hit and killed 48-year-old Juliet Jeffery last month. This was at the intersection of Highway 71 and Don Tyson. Police say Jeffery was riding her bike and Medina was driving an SUV. He's facing charges for leaving the scene of an accident involving death and not having a driver's license.
So happening now, the Ozark City Council discussing taking back a resolution opposing plans for a new 3,000-bed prison in Franklin County that would also support talks with the governor's office about potentially supplying water to the site.
We'll take a live look right now at that meeting. Councilman Randy Melton said the city's water treatment plant's already near max capacity. He estimates it would cost $85 to $90 million in upgrades to supply water to the prison. But he says city leaders should see what's being offered by the governor's office, and if the state can pay for those upgrades, that must be done soon.
It needs work. It needs a lot of work. About $22.9 million. That's critical. That's got to be done immediately. Ozark is my main concern right now, and I feel like it's my responsibility and the responsibility of this council to at least hear what they've got to say, just open dialogue.
We'll have the latest on what was decided. That'll be coming up later tonight.
The Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks in Fayetteville held a Veterans Day ceremony that was happening today.
Yeah, shining a spotlight on a local artist and veteran whose work is being recognized nationwide.
Abner Sosa is live with more. Abner.
Well, Army veteran Jeremy Carpenter of Lowell was honored today. He is the winner of the 2025 National Veterans Day Poster Contest. His winning work, titled Unified by Service, will appear on the cover of the official program for the Veterans Day National Observance at Arlington National Cemetery, happening tomorrow.
When I thought about what I was going to submit, I thought, what is the first thing that comes to mind when I think about being patriotic.
And he tells me that his design will also be displayed in VA facilities and military installations around the nation. Live in Fayetteville, I'm Abner Sosa, 4029 News.
Thank you, Abner. So a local 100-year-old World War II veteran reflecting on his time in the military as we approach Veterans Day.
KB Smith of Bella Vista served in the Navy and enlisted at the age of 17, citing the attack on Pearl Harbor as his inspiration. Smith says the Navy taught him discipline and good habits.
I remember one thing the old chief on there said, I got to visit with him quite a bit, but he said, KB, one thing you gotta learn to do is make your bed the first thing when you get up. And I still do that to this day. He said it's going to give you a feeling of accomplishment.
So tomorrow morning you'll want to tune in. 4029 News Sunrise anchor Phil Reed, he's got more from Smith, including the message for the younger generation.
Today, the city of Fort Smith announced a new person is leading their fire department.
Yeah, so according to the city, Daryl Clark promoted to the position today. He was serving as the assistant fire chief. He's now the chief. Clark has worked with the Fort Smith Fire Department for nearly 27 years. So we turn to this now, a whites-only community with dozens of people in Northeast Arkansas.
I also don't know exactly what racism is. If racism is valuing your racial heritage and wanting to perpetuate it, well then by that definition, yeah, we're racist.
When we come back, hear from a civil rights attorney who says he believes it violates the law.
And as we take a live look outside, another cold night on tap. Chief Meteorologist Darby Bybee standing by when that warm weather comes back.
Coming up, Thanksgiving jitters. Is holiday travel chaos still coming even if the shutdown comes to an end? Inside Edition after the news.
Now to a story in the Ozarks that's been making headlines nationwide. There's a relatively new whites-only community in Northeast Arkansas.
So take a look. It's a 160-acre property near the town of Ravenden. It's a private membership association called Return to the Land. And there are families that are living there now and more homes going up.
There are black people who want black communities, Jewish people who want Jewish communities, and there are white people who want white communities. And in the past, that's how this country was. So we're trying to preserve that.
So tonight we're hearing from the co-founder of Return to the Land and from a longtime Arkansas civil rights attorney about this controversial new community.
So if people are interested, they align with our values, they're welcome to join.
We tracked down Eric Orwell. He's the president of Return to the Land, which is now home to about 36 people.
And it's not all about are you white or not. It's also, do you share traditional European values? And also, if you want to live here with us, do you get along with us?
You have to get accepted to live here. There's an application process, including a questionnaire and an interview with the Board of Trustees. How would you defend what you do here?
We're not trying to oppress any other group. In fact, we would want to help other groups also have their own spaces if that's what they want.
Do you understand why some people, though, might see what you're doing as racism?
Sure, of course, but I also don't know exactly what racism is. The concept has shifted over the years. If racism is hating other groups of people, I would say we're not racist. If racism is valuing your racial heritage and wanting to perpetuate it, well then by that definition, yeah, we're racist.
Butch Dale lives in nearby Ravenden. He's a city council member and the fire chief. He says he's not bothered by it.
We live in a free country. I think they have a right to support their views the way they want to. Of course, we all have our different views.
Arkansas civil rights attorney Austin Porter Jr. says what they're doing is against the law.
It violates the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. It violates 42 U.S.C. Section 1982 of the Civil Rights Act, because those laws say that anybody enjoy the same rights to own, sell, possess land as enjoyed by white citizens.
Orwell and the Return to the Land official website both say the community is a private club and therefore exempt from Title II of the Civil Rights Act on public accommodations. That would have to be tested in court.
In order for there to be a case, a lawsuit, there has to be some kind of what's called a case of controversy. Someone tried to obtain ownership or someone tried to live in that particular area. They were denied, and at that point, then a lawsuit can be brought.
Is there something that you have against people of other ethnicities?
No, we are for European heritage. That's our history. That's where we come from. We want to perpetuate that. I think that's very natural. I think all life basically wants to perpetuate what it is, so we're trying to do that.
Is it because you're honoring your ancestry, or is it because you think your ancestry is better than another?
Well, it's mine, and obviously I have a preference for it, but I wouldn't say that it's superior to others in all respects. I think in general, societies get along better when people are more similar. The more dissimilar people are in a society, the harder it is to understand each other. And if you can't understand each other, you can't exactly predict what everyone's going to do. And if you can't predict what they're going to do, it's harder to trust them. And so multiracial, multicultural societies end up being lower trust, and people become less sociable.
America, though, it's a melting pot, right? It's kind of built on the fact that, you know, people of different religious backgrounds and races and ethnicities have come together and existed and coexisted.
That's not what it was built on. It was built by white Europeans for white Europeans.
So Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin's office would not comment, confirming only that they are investigating if any laws are being broken.
Meanwhile, Arkansas Governor Sarah Sanders released this statement saying, quote, Governor Sanders condemns discrimination and racism of any kind and is confident in the Attorney General's ability to investigate this matter.
All right, for more on this story, just go online, 4029tv.com, or download the 4029 app.